2024 is coming to an end, but I'm going to give you guys 5 insane yet incredibly realistic predictions for WWE in 2025, and it's all coming up right here on the Ango Show. All right, guys, with every prediction, I'm going to give you a little bit of a breakdown. So go ahead, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Kicking things off at number 1, it's actually one that I am probably the most excited about potentially, but Cody Rhodes turning heel. I know that Cody Rhodes has been looked at as the poster child for the WWE, but I think Cody Rhodes turning heel, we're already starting to see signs and glimpses of these, characteristics in which Cody Rhodes could potentially be leaning towards a heel. And I think Cody Rhodes is going to be the kind of heel in WWE where he is a heel, but he makes everybody think he's the good guy, which is exactly what Homelander from The Boys is. And it's really interesting because Cody Rhodes has often been compared to Homelander, but I think this is the right way to go about it. I think it could lead to some really intriguing storytelling. And for WWE, this is actually a really insane idea because Cody Rhodes, being the poster child for WWE, he's generating so much revenue for the company in terms of merchandise. This guy is becoming like the most beloved figure in pro wrestling at the moment. So it would definitely be risky. But I think if Cody Rhodes were to do this with his character, I think it would be very, very, very good content, especially if we get that rumored match in 2025 between The Rock and Cody Rhodes. If Cody Rhodes were to maybe cheat his way into retaining his WWE championship against The Rock, I mean, it would be a very interesting storyline progression. And just to see the evolution of Cody and the Bloodline saga and everything that has happened thus far, I think this would actually add an element of unpredictability to what can happen with Cody Rhodes. Because again, you got to remember, Cody Rhodes has been fighting and fighting and fighting for the world championship, and he finally won it. But that was because he was the ultimate babyface, right? And so with Cody now trying harder and harder and harder to retain his belt, him turning heel allows him to do some things that are questionable, but it would make sense because of his journey to get there. So that's a very fun one. My second prediction on the list is that CM Punk starts a new faction with Paul Heyman. There's been so much talk about CM Punk and Roman Reigns potentially being a massive storyline. And I do think in 2025, we see Roman Reigns moving further and further away from The Rock. I think at some point, WWE will want to have Roman Reigns versus The Rock at WrestleMania, but that's not going to happen in 2025. I fully believe that will happen at WrestleMania in the UK if it takes place at WrestleMania 42. So in order for WWE to get to Rock and Roman, they are going to have to pivot. They're going to have to take a detour. And that's why I believe if CM Punk were to have a match at WrestleMania with Roman Reigns, we're going to find out where Paul Heyman stands. And I think WWE could actually be really, really smart here if they have CM Punk take a couple young guys under his wing, starting a new faction that leads to them debuting at WrestleMania as a group with Paul Heyman making the call, Paul Heyman being the one to say, hey, go after Roman, and then it will all make sense. And then the cool thing is, obviously the Bloodline kind of getting away from The Rock makes a lot more sense here now, because then they can feud with CM Punk's faction. I think CM Punk has made it very, very clear he wants the main event WrestleMania. I don't think CM Punk cares if he's a babyface or a heel in that aspect, but WWE could do something really, really major here. So I do feel like this would be a no-brainer for the WWE. Now, as far as who can be in the faction with CM Punk, this is where it becomes very tricky because I don't know exactly who would be the best assets for him at this time. However, what I do want to say is that Braun Breaker is somebody I would keep an eye out on, because Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker, there's been a lot of rumors that potentially they would come together. So this could be one of those scenarios where Punk taking Braun Breaker under his wing and then Paul Heyman eventually becoming the manager for Braun Breaker. That could take him to new heights and having him become a world heavyweight champion down the line. But of course, in this situation, the only one I could really, really think of is Braun Breaker. I would have to take a look at the NXT roster to really think of who might have the chemistry with Punk and Heyman. But I would prefer fresh meat from NXT, somebody who is not on the main roster currently. So Braun Breaker being one of them is okay with me. but I would add 2 other members, and those 2 other members should be people that are in NXT, may not be as popular or as well known, but this way everybody could benefit from it together. It's a very interesting situation for WWE if they go this route, but Roman Reigns losing a Punk due to a new faction coming out, it could lead to a very big storyline. That's going to bring us to our third prediction. I believe Solo Sikoa becomes a world champion in the WWE. Obviously, WWE is very high on Solo Sikoa in this new bloodline. I know not everybody's going to like this prediction. I understand. I'm not even trying to laugh, but I know a lot of people probably aren't taking me serious. But I think WWE is truly behind Solo Sikoa. And obviously, he's kind of fallen short. But I think if Solo Sikoa were to become WWE champion at some point in 2025, and maybe this prediction comes way later in the year, but if that were to happen, I think it kind of sets the tone for Jacob Fatu to eventually leave the new bloodline and feud with Solo Sikoa. I think WWE is going to try to hold on to that storyline in their back pocket for as long as possible. And for as much as people don't like this, Solo Sikoa being a world champion, he would be the first WWE NXT 2.0 superstar to get called up to the main roster and become the world champion. Now, as much as I love Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes, this is the one where I think it makes the most sense just based on where he's currently at storytelling wise and on the card for WWE. WWE loves Solo Sikoa, and I think if he were to beat Cody Rhodes, it gets Cody Rhodes away from the bloodline stuff. And then hopefully at that point, when Cody's done with that, he can go on to Monday Night Raw on Netflix and go for the World Heavyweight Championship or whatever they want to do. But eventually, I think, titles got to drop. Cody can't be champion forever. So Cody's going to have to drop the belt to somebody. If Cody beats The Rock and cheats, like I said earlier in the prediction video, I think it would be a lot better for Solo Sikoa to be the one to get the job done. And again, WWE is all about creating new stars. Whether it works or not, we'll have to see. But I think that would be the case. I do want to switch gears, though, because my fourth prediction here is one that makes a lot of sense, and it's Dominic Mysterio capturing his first singles gold. I think this guy is going to be an Intercontinental Champion or a U.S. Champion in WWE very easily. I don't think there's really much argument to that. And I think Dominic Mysterio breaking away from the Judgment Day, getting away from Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, getting away from all that will be the healthiest thing for his career. Dominic Mysterio just possesses all the skills, man. Like, he's talented in ring. He's great on the mic. He's great with the character elements. This is a guy who should 100% become a singles champion in WWE. Now, who do they have him go after? Is it Braun Breaker in the IC title? Is it Shinsuke Nakamura on the US title? Obviously, we have to wait and see who's holding the belt at the time. But I predict that Dominic finally gets his opportunity as a mid-card champion. And what's going to be really cool about that is because I do genuinely believe in 2026, Dom Mysterio could very well be on his way to becoming a world champion. So this is the evolution of somebody's growth. This is where it makes the most sense. Dominic Mysterio, singles champion, definitely happening. And guys, this one is a very good one, very realistic. Jordynne Grace becomes WWE World Women's Champion. Whether it's on SmackDown or Raw, not sure, because obviously we'll have to wait and see. But I firmly believe Jordynne Grace will be on her way to WWE. And when she comes to WWE, I believe she'll go straight to the main roster. They got to freshen up those feuds. And obviously, when, in a company where you got Charlotte Flair and Becky and Rhea and so many different talented people, I think Jordynne Grace makes a very, very big impact, pun intended. I think she becomes a World Women's Champion in 2025. I think WWE is going to hot shot Jordynne Grace. It makes a lot of sense. The audience is already familiar with her. They've seen her at the Royal Rumble. They've seen her with NXT. They see the partnership. So kind of insane, but all very realistic. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below.